So hey, I'm Jean-Sebastien Decant, JS, narrative director on Cry Primal.
What is Far Cry Primal for people who haven't heard of this game yet?
Cry Primal is Far Cry to the Stone Age. We send you, the player, in a savage and brutal world where you're actually going to become the Beastmaster and use beasts in order to attack the world and conquer it.
So past Far Cry games have always been about weapons and guns and playing how you want. Now, how does that translate over to a BC environment where you have bows and arrows and hacksaws and hammers?
So we wanted to totally embrace the fantasy of the Stone Age, of the Mesolithic era, a time where people were hunter-gatherers and were crafting their weapons by themselves. So we embraced that and we went for clubs, spears, and bow and arrows. And then, in order to twist it and to keep it Far Cry, we brought the beast and we made the player the first man on Earth to tame beasts. And these are the new weapons. There are plenty of variations. Each one is unique. And we'll create lots of different approach in terms of how you tackle the missions.
So tell us in terms of the story, what's going on in this world of Far Cry Primal?
So you play Takar, a seasoned hunter who just lost his hunting crew. And he arrived to Oros and meet his cousin tribe who are in big trouble with other tribes, including the Udam that are portrayed in the demo right now. And you and the other Winja, you will conquer back Oros.
What have you guys learned from past Far Cry games you're applying to Primal?
I think that in terms of Far Cry is all about freedom. So how do we give that freedom as quickly as possible, and how do we leave you with the keys and you do whatever you want? So we went for that approach. So very quickly in the game, you're going to have access to a gigantic world that is split in 3 regions. There is the forest, there is the icy region, and the swamp region. And you'll be able to do whatever you want in any order. The narrative is also going to be fragmented. And what else? No more radio towers. Now it's unfogging the map at your own pace and discovering things at your own pace without going through a device that also wouldn't match the Mesolithic era.
Can you talk about how the crafting will work in the game?
You collect stuff like in the previous Far Cry, so you hunt animals, you gather resources, and you will be combining them in order to make your weapons. And you will have to make every arrow and everything that you will use to fight the enemies and also the animals.
Now, speaking of animals, we've seen saber-tooth tigers, we've seen giant moose, we've seen mastodons. Will there be dinosaurs in the game as well?
It's a game that's set in 10,000 BCE. There were no dinosaurs at the time, so no, megafauna. The woolly mammoth, the saber-tooth tiger, the megalosaurus, the elk you were talking about. Yes, they will be there, but no raptors. Sorry.
So what went into designing a game with so many gigantic creatures that are not only enemies, but you can also tame?
So Far Cry is all about hunting. It's been a few episodes that we gave you a crazy wildlife that you could have interaction with. This time we wanted to go a little bit further and give you the possibility to tame them. And the taming is a skill. So at first you will be able to tame tiny animals, and then you will be able to unlock bigger animals and so on and so forth. So at first the saber-tooth tiger is not going to be your friend. It's going to be actually your worst enemy.
Now, can you ride the animals after you tame them as like mounts?
Some of them. There is the baby mammoth, some of the bears, and also the saber-tooth, yes. Yeah.
Can you have more than one animal companion at a time and like tell them to flank enemies and stuff like that?
You can totally work at the unison with your beast and work in cooperation with your beast, but you will only have one at once. Yeah.
How big is the map compared to other past Far Cry games?
Similar. It's huge. Yeah.
So how will fortresses work in this game as well?
The fortresses?
Yeah.
That is kept under wrap for the moment.
What kind of weapons are you showing here at the PlayStation Experience that you can wield in Far Cry?
We've unlocked a lot of the things to let you have fun the way you want, and most of the animals also are there to be tamed and enjoyed. Yeah.
Will there be flying animals you can tame?
So at the very beginning, yes, you're going to have an owl. The owl is your other companion. It's a recon tool. You can use it to scout the area, and later when you'll upgrade it, she will be able to attack anyone with a dive attack.
What are some of the fun things as a narrative director you get to do because it's taking place in 10,000 BC rather than modern day?
Working with a language from the time. We've contacted specialists and we've adapted the Proto-Indo-European, which is supposed to be the mother of all tongues. And it gave us so many opportunities to think about a different way of communicating. We lose all the telephones and everything, and we just focus on the moment and very basic language. And yeah, it was very fun to work with this with the actors too.
Now, are the characters, do they speak English or do they use grunts and sign language? How does that work?
So they use grunts, they use sign language, and they speak, and it's going to be subtitled. There is a Winja language, there is a Nudam language, there is 3 languages actually in the game, and yeah, it will be fully subtitled.
So tell us a little more about the story. So this is not a time travel story. This is a story where you are literally a person in 10,000 BC, trying to survive, avenge your family, what?
This is a story set in 10,000 BC. It's the age of the hunter-gatherers, moving around Europe and hunting for food. And yeah, that's not time travel. It's really rooted in that period, and we spent a lot of time to do our research and build the game around that fantasy and that period. Yes.
What upgrades have you made to the engine since the previous Far Cry games?
I think that in terms of lighting and procedural generation, we did a lot of new little things, and also the whole animation system for the animals.
What's it like seeing people who are playing your game for the first time publicly?
It's super exciting. It's super fun to see them improvising crazy stuff that we even didn't think about it. The combinations are super cool.
So as far as weapons go, you have bows and arrows, you have knives, daggers, axes, anything kind of unique that you have in the game that people haven't seen yet?
I think that we have some projectiles, the fire bombs. They're a little bit silly. They're not from the times, but we brought them in because it was fun and because we spent a lot of effort and energy on the fire propagation. So fire is actually a crazy weapon, and you can set any of your weapon in fire and use it to just burn the world, and it's super cool.
So how accurate are you keeping the world? Is it true to the same time period, 10,000 BC, or are you guys going to have giant insects in it and play around with it at all?
No, it's true to the period in terms of what they wear, what they do, their habitats, the conflicts. Everything is true to what we could get from the times. What's a little bit borderline is what we do with the beasts and with some of the weapons, but it's just for ensuring that the game is going to be super fun.
And when does Far Cry Primal come out?
Far Cry Primal is coming on the 23rd of February, so it's very soon. It's very exciting.